Hi, my name is Jordan Crocus, and this is my P3 screencast. I'm going to go through my library. So my libwad, this is my wad header. This is the include files that I have included here. The struct node that I'll use in my data structures, the NRA tree. I contain a string node name, a vector char called nData, and a vector node pointer of children called children. Then I have my load wad and normal files, and I have a create tree, which creates my tree, which calls my create tree function, and then find thing, which will find items in that tree. Then I have vector char data. That's the entire, all the bytes of that actual WAD file, the directory offset, and then the directory number, amount of that are in there, amount of elements. Then I have a name for the magic, and then a node root pointer for the root for the object. So going up here, this is my tree function that calls tree, nothing special. Create tree actually recursively goes through the data private variable, the data here, vector char, and goes through recursively and goes to the deepest level, and then returns any file to the previous node's children vector, and then keeps going in if there's more, and if there's not, and it finds an end, it then will return itself, and then which would have been caused by the previous node. So it goes all the way down and then returns all the values back into their respective children, starting at root. And then I use find thing, pass a path, and take the path, and then cut it down into smaller pieces as I go through into the files. And if the files cannot locate, or if the file's not be able to locate, directory's not be able to locate it, or not be able to be located, it will return null pointer. And if it is, they'll look through the children. So if it does, then it returns that root or that node pointer that contains in the child of the previous. Wad load wad, essentially just pulling the characters from the header and setting them equal to their respective values, deoffset, and then name, and then denum, so that I could just create a vector char for the data to obtain the correct amount of data, and that's what I do here. I get that data, and then I also call that create tree function, and then I return the pointer. And then get magic just returns that name I got earlier, which is iwad or pwad. Is content uses find path or find thing, and if it is null, it returns false, and if it's greater than 0, it's a file, it's a txt or some kind of content. And it returns true. Same thing with directory, except if it equals 0, then it's false, or if it equals 0, then it's true. Get size, same thing, except when it is bigger than 0, it returns that amount of data that returns from size. Get contents returns the bytes that are put into the buffer, and this goes through and uses find thing to get that pointer, and then finds out what's longer, the data size or the length and offset, or the length and offset, so that it knows what to go through in this while loop, sets max equal to it, and then puts the buffer, sets the buffer points to the points that it needs to be, starting at that offset. And then in get directory, similar thing, except when it finds that path, all it really needs to do is just pushes that child node names, all the child node names into the directory, and then returns to how big that directory is. So I'm going to test this real quick. This is the WAD dump for sample1.wad right here. Everything's pretty straightforward. And then actually I have a test for the daemon already set up here. This is using WadFuse and the sample wad again. I run this. Whoops. There you go. Run that. And then we can go into that temp test. So we have our files here. Can even do ls-al. Everything's listed. cat mp.txt, so you can read the file, or nano. They both work. I just can't write in nano. And then I can go into that G file, go into the AD file, then can go into that OS file, and then I have that cake JPEG. Everything's in there. Thank you very much.